Are we live?
Yes, we are live.
Need an action. What kind of director are you?
I'm not a director. So here we are. Oh yeah, that was not easy. We're here, Western Iowa Tech, training on some forks. You see that sweet setup? Oh yes.
All right, in all seriousness, we're in suspension systems right now, and you guys, we just had some great conversation this morning about every mechanic should know this and how we work with things. And so we're going to do a couple little tips here. This isn't going to be super long on some things you can avoid of having problems when you put your forks together. But the reason I want to do this is because we got some rock stars here that they've really discovered some things that are going to save problems. And as you service managers out there know this, it drives us crazy when the newer tech comes in and goes, hey, this is broke. And then you're like, oh, why didn't you stop sooner, right? So, you know, you guys said that, you know, training from this every mechanic should know this point of view. Bailey, do you have some thoughts on that?
Well, just from the every mechanic point of view we have, just when we were putting this fork together, driving in the oil seal, we were using just the conventional driver here, and when you'd put this in, it'd be right on top of a spring, and it just, to me anyway, it looked like he just damaged the seal.
Yeah. Well, here's what I appreciate. We got two tips we're going to show. So we're going to show what happened there in up close in HD 4K, you're telling me?
4K.
All right, okay. And then we got another one we're going to show. We had these two cats right here. Explain what you noticed there.
We couldn't get the dampener bolt to go in, and what we found out was that we needed to clean the threads out on the bottom a little better.
How cool is it? Think about this. Here's the every mechanic. You got all this stuff you're putting together. I think we take for granted a lot the simple fact of testing stuff. We just start slapping things together. This is cross-threaded or has Loctite in there. That will not go in there. So I'm not going to explain how to do the whole fork right now, but any of you techs out there know that this dampener that goes through the fork, okay, this one, we don't have a tool to sit and hold this right here. If you can only get that far, I don't care if you try to put an impact on here until you can retain this the way we have to get the special tool out. You're going to either just cross thread that or you're going to ruin it. And if this starts to cross thread and then you get a false torque where you're like, oh yeah, okay, I'm good. You could get a torque wrench to even clean, but if this washer isn't kissed up there, as soon as you put fork oil in, what's gonna happen?
It's gonna run out the bottom.
You gotta have the spotless clean. That's tip number one, okay? The other thing we wanna do is we wanna take and run a tap through there, clean that out, and then once again, if we're getting little metal filings out there, we don't wanna get that into the valving, right? So you have to work so clean. And then we'd run a chaser down this. So you have to have your parts ready to go in spotless clean. I hope our pal, Ben from Ducati Omaha, he puts, if you guys haven't seen him, he does tons of awesome, amazing motorcycle stuff, especially suspension related. So see, hopefully he'll appreciate what we got going on here. Okay, so that's one we got to fix, right?
Yep.
Okay. Yep. So let's get this fork out of the way. Thanks, guys. They're telling me to put my safety glasses on. So
Yeah, you're slacking.
yeah, when I go to do some work, I'm gonna freaking do that right now. Okay, I want to point out a couple of things here, and this is where we're going to need to get some flashlights. So you use flashlight, and then we're going to move to Grant to kind of explain something a little better. Bailey, I'm going to use you first, though. So in the service manual for this DR650, you can still focus here while he pulls that up, they simply tell you to put in the tube, the inner bushing, they call this the seal retainer, the oil seal, and the dust seal. They just say to put it all in. So the manual, there you go. Can that get you into trouble, guys?
Oh yes.
Because it's expecting that you're a mechanic and that you know what you're doing. But what we know is that we always want to take and we want to drive the bushing in first, and we're going to use this washer to use our split tool. Go ahead and set that up around here. We've got a driver that goes on like so. Slippery little bugger. Okay, that's good. And we want to have that, we want to put these two pieces on at the same time. if we did it per the manual like a checklist and we went, okay, we install that, this was step 1, this was step 2, this was step 3. If we did that, if we took that driver and we're just barely catching the edge of this, we're going to hurt that bushing. So you want to do these two together, and you'll see there as we drive that down, it's going to put it in really nice and square, and life's going to be good. Does that make sense? So the next problem we have here, we're going to show it on top. So let's pretend that that's in, okay? And let's take a look here. And you guys, if you see how we train here at the college, they're watching on a big screen there. It's pretty cool for you other educators. Let's zoom in here. I want you to get really close in on this oil seal here. And Grant, take over.
All right, well, what we ran into is when this seal driver goes on, it's hitting the inside lip there. Here's a used one.
Better or
There's
worse?
that.
Go ahead and get
Can you
close.
see that? There's that lip right on there, and that is what the seal driver is hitting.
Let's go ahead and show them. We'll set it on there without smashing it in there.
It's hitting
Can
that.
you guys see that on the camera? CJ, try and zoom in a little more. Lift that driver up a little bit. And if we... Okay, see, go ahead and set it. Just set it lightly. So do you see what Grant and Bailey here are talking about? Is they came over and they said, hey, I don't know, Shane. If I copy your demo you did yesterday, I really feel like I'm going to hurt this. Is that what was going through your head? Yeah, no doubt, right? So we were like, well, what do? We grabbed the service manual. We were looking for special tools or whatnot. So let's go ahead and pull that one up. Another little tip, since we're doing tips here, I guess we're doing more than 2 tips, is that when you go to put these seals on, one thing you want to do is use a baggie, and they make the bullets, and we showed those yesterday like we saw down at Ducati Omaha too, and then you want to slide your seal over that so you don't tear it on that sharp edge. Because what happens a lot of times, people go do fork seals and they just hurt it. You know, they cause so many problems from that. So here's what we've come up with. Suzuki makes this tool. Go ahead and hold the fork.
Or am I going to drive the bushing in first?
I'm just going to demo it first.
Okay.
Did you see what just happened? Safety glasses on. You guys are my teammates, right? Okay, I might be the coach, but I love the fact that you're not letting each other, you know, make that next mistake. That's freaking awesome. I think we need more of that in our shops out there. So I'm going to show you this. This is an adjustable tool. This thing is expensive. I believe K&L Supply is where we got it, but it's actually like an OEM Suzuki tool. That's the K&L part number there. Can you see here?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what we have here is an adjustable driver that we could take and size up here. Am I going the right way? Okay, I'm getting some friction on these pads here. Okay, now watch what happens. We'll get the flashlight out here. And you see how we're off the spring now?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if you're going to be, I'll get the flashlight out of the way for you.
Tilting.
But there you go. We're off that spring, okay? But we got a problem, okay? This is kind of, we don't have that support like the other tool. So the problem is if I tip this sideways, I could end up hitting the spring. So watch what we've come up with. We're going to go ahead and actually just do it here. We're going to just do the whole job here. I don't want to take that back off because I don't want to hurt it. That's why we need the split tool.
So awkward to handle.
He's going to go ahead and we're going to drive that bushing in. It's so quiet today. All right, I'm gonna let go, let you just do the work. Hear the sound change? Mm-hmm. So what we wanna do is we gotta be careful too. Look in here. We could be, the depth of that tool could get to a point where that bushing needs to be more than we have available. You got to quit. We just want to square it up and get it 99.9% of the way there, and we could finish it with the oil seal. If we're trying to drive the whole bushing, we're going to hurt something. Make sense? So is this every mechanic? You got to stop, look, stop, look. If you're just grabbing a hold of this stuff, and even on a Suzuki tool like this, and this is an adjustable one for multiple forks, there's the chance that on whatever fork you're working on, it might be a problem. So the other thing I teach these guys to do is just tip it upside down so the washer falls back on you. Okay, and now check your work. We could see that that bushing is square and it looks like it's actually fully seated in there. Get the flashlight out of the way. There we go. So I feel good about this. Now I can move on to the oil seal. If you're just, like I said, I can't stress enough, if you're just go, 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 your chances of hurting something are probably pretty high. So now we'll show you the trick that we came up with. Bailey, how about you hop in and let the two of you do this? So what they're going to do, I'll explain it here, is they're going to size the adjustable seal driver to where they're happy, and then, you remember how we're going to use this?
Yes.
Why don't you go ahead and start setting that up? Give you a little light to verify. How important are flashlights?
Very.
Am I blinding you or helping you?
Helpful.
Now I definitely recommend doing this with a couple of people here, as you're gonna see. Happy?
Yep.
Okay, because he's got a little bit of a challenge. This is what we were talking about. See how floppy that is? So he wants to try and square it as much as he can. He's got to try and hold this straight. Flip it, other way. So what we've decided is we've got this really good sized fork driver, and we're going to use the two in a combination together and then drive it down. Go for it. Nice and square. Hear that sound change?
Yep.
Then you stop. When that sound comes, quit. Because what do we need to do? We just need to check. So now what we're doing is, where's your,
Looks real good.
here's your new dust seal.
Yes.
Okay. Now what we're trying to do is we're trying to look down inside here. Seth, come around here.
So like right there.
And we could take a veneer caliper and we could even measure it, because they've got to be able to have this drove down enough that the clip can snap into its groove. So do you feel like you're far enough?
Yes.
Okay, let's do the baggy trick. Greasing these up's a good idea, just on their ID. Let me see if I have that 43 millimeter bullet.
For those of you at home, ID is inner diameter.
This is that bullet I was talking about, and the 43 is what color? Green.
That's one we tried using yesterday, wasn't it?
I think we were doing a 40.
I don't know.
We were doing a
So
41
So
yesterday.
this is a better way to do it. But remember, we train here at the college. How can you be resourceful? I think that's a big thing that we do, is like, it's, you know, what tools can you use? How can you do something a little differently? Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So you want to just use that one then?
Butter.
Smooth.
Pretty cool. And that's a Motion Pro product. You know, if you're a shop, you've got to have all the right tools, right? All right, we'll let these guys finish up. They're going to do the same thing. Do you need to tweak your tool a little bit, or does it just work?
It works. Yep, the rings.
Do you see what they're doing again? They're stopping, they're checking their work. They're not trying to just slap it together.
A little high there.
Yeah.
Okay, you want to tweak it?
A little bit more.
Go for it.
On this side here.
That's good, I bet. Every time, get the
That
flashlight
looks
out.
better.
That's
Yep.
the muscle
Yep.
memory of it.
Oops, sorry, Seth.
Could you guys see it good on the big screen? Okay. Let's get that clip in.
Drops it over the top.
Now, a lot of times that clip we said is actually under the dust seal.
A little screwdriver.
Okay, let me check. And this is the other thing too. If that bushing or those seals are crooked or anything's, you know, damaged, this is not a fork rebuilding video, right? What is this video really about? Let's summarize this.
Every mechanic should know and just pay attention to every little detail, because there's different makes or different styles of one particular part, would you say?
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, listen, I want to say to you guys today, I mean, great job on the stopping points. That, you know, Penny and Chris there, that fork bolt being cross-threaded or not ready would have been a freaking nightmare to try and fix. Probably like buying a dampener. Okay, so great job stopping, asking questions. And you guys, what would have happened in this case is that you would have put it together, you would put oil in it, everything would have been fine. You'd probably go out and ride it a little bit or whatnot, but on this particular bike, which happens to be right behind you, what's it got on the outside of the fork?
Covers.
It's got fork gaiters. Do you know how much oil would have to get in here before it would probably fill up? There's holes in the bottom in there,
Yes.
but you'd still have to puddle oil up before you'd even know you have a problem. And that's what we're trying to avoid. From every mechanic should know this too, is we don't want comebacks. Okay, and here's the way I feel about this. A lot of times when technicians or mechanics are just, you know, going with the flow and just throwing things together, you get lucky. You might not have that problem show its ugly head until a few hundred miles, but do you think our customers expect more than 100 miles or to the end of the driveway service, right?
Absolutely.
All right, guys. This is awesome. Good job today. For everybody out there, hope you're having a great day. I do want to make a little point. You're going to see some stuff coming up here pretty quick. Western Iowa Tech's going to be doing a fun run, bike run, and we're doing scholarship fundraising for these technicians to carry on with their education. Today, we want to thank especially one of our other friends here on a project that we're just getting ready to wrap up. We got a $250 donation going into our scholarship fund. So if you're looking to invest or you're looking to hire these guys, right, and gal, we appreciate you being part of our community on here. Make it a great day, and
Keep
Attention.